Hello, hello. I'm out here in the fairy forest, sitting on the earth with the ferns and all the other little yummy, juicy things that are emerging from the mother. This is such a beautiful, abundant time down here by our creek. Time of year when all the ferns are unfurling and the skunk cabbage and all kinds of other little tender shoots and things. Little special orchids and different types of flowers. And it's Beltane zone. Lots of people were celebrating Beltane yesterday on May Day, May 1st. The exact Beltane or the solar Beltane is coming up on May 5th. And I wanted to just see if I could take a moment to just kind of share a little bit about Beltane from my perspective. If I could I've been kind of trying to track back inside myself and see what I wanted the Beltane message to be for this year, what was going to come forth, what was I wanting to share. And I have a couple of themes sort of spinning around in my head, and nothing's like, the threads are like a little bit loose. So I was just hoping to take a moment with this video to see if I could bring some clarity forth as like a living real-time reflection of what this time of year can be like, and how the significance of observing this in a sacred way, in a ceremonial way. And there's a couple of things at play. First and foremost, there is the seasonal nature of what's going on. So it's all about what's happening with the mother, right? Then there's the interplay of human culture and our relationship with the land, and how that was played out by our ancestors and what they did to celebrate and honor and cultivate or share and sense making with their world. So that's a big piece of what Beltane is. It's about really celebrating the solar energy, the return of the solar energy. It's a fire ceremony. It's a ceremony of union, sacred union, and it's the time of mating and love, and that energy where the energy in the land is rising, and so that energy is also rising in us as humans. We're feeling our wild oats, so to speak. And it's very powerful to come together as a community and harness those energies towards conscious intention. I would even say it was probably an ancient time, a time of year when people came together and mated on the land and celebrated their relationship with the land. And so I always feel like Beltane's a really important time to actually really consciously be aware of what we're conceiving. So it's a time of conscious conception. It's also a time of birthing, like some things that were cultivated over the winter, the fall and winter and early spring months, are now birthing into being. So I've been seeing a lot of like birth and emergence happening. And there's this piece of awareness that I carry around what culture could be like, what our culture, our human culture could be like if we did our mating and our relationships and our making of other humans, if we did all of that with more love and consciousness in a way that was attuned to our overall connection with nature and the cycles of time. And so really, if we brought relationship into an arena that was conscious, and a relationship actually is most healthy and happens in the context of community as a whole. So as a ceremony, for all of the community, whether you're in relationship or not. It's so important to honor this time of land and to be working with the energies of this time of year in a conscious way that is really filled with love and intent. And one tradition in kind of in Celtic culture is that people often hand fast at this time of Beltane. So they're actually making a pledge to each other for a year and a day. So it's a type of like spiritual marriage. It's the time of spiritual marriage. And so you can also ask yourself, like, in your inner marriage, what kind of a relationship are you cultivating? What are you committing to for a year and a day? So it's really a time to kind of also stand in the presence of who you are and what you want to manifest or bring into being, what you're conceiving, and to really call that in quite consciously, in the same way that you would be fully present for a hand fasting or a marriage. And it's also as an individual and as community, it's our marriage to the land. So it's a time of year in which we're remaking that commitment to her well-being, her beauty. And we're also taking the time to presence and be with nature. So there's a lot of dynamic medicine present at Beltane, and it's one of people's favorite cross quarter day celebrations. And I think that there's like a lot that we could still move forward into learning through making this celebration like a really a time of like conscious marriage. There's a lot of work that we could do at this time of Beltane that's really about the harmonizing of the masculine and the feminine, or also with sacred relationship. Like, how can we cultivate a real collective consciousness within our communities around sacred relationship, and really use this time and use the energy of spring to take time to really do some of the work that needs to be done and shared and cultivated between the masculine and feminine. So that's like a little bit beyond the like the ooh and the ah and the wonder of like people go and mate and lay in the fields. It's like, well, what, why come together as men and women, where there's a really deep, profound juncture of sacredness that has to do with the whole continuum, the wheel of life that we're involved in. And so how to bring those elements together in a conscious way, really weaving them into the very like foundation of the earth. That's part of what the rituals of Beltane involve, is conscious union. So that's a little bit of what all that means to me. What does it mean for you? What are some of your thoughts and introspections about this potent time of year? I'd love to hear your reflections.